Hi everyone, it's Louise here from Valhalla Therapies on the Gold Coast, and welcome to my Friday live chats. And today I'm talking to Jada Dawson. She has got some amazing stuff that she has facilitated, and she's helped a lot of women through her, let me say, her niche, which is the Gold Coast South Red Tent. Hi Jada, how are you?
Great, thanks, Louise, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm Jada,
yeah. What
and
is?
um, yeah, Gold Coast South Red Tent. It's a huge passion of my life. I have worked with women for many, many years, and our paths lead and wind and whatever. The Gold Coast South Red Tent, or Red Tent Australia, is actually a non-for-profit women's organisation. So it's about creating a safe and sacred space for women to come together and to drop all the roles that we have in life and the masks. Drop that at the door and just come and simply be accepted for the unique woman that you are. So we meet once a month, um, typically at Curry Hill Community Centre, but because of world situation at the moment, we're actually online. And that's been a huge journey in itself. It's great to connect with women outside our actually local area. So it's been beautiful.
It looks like we lost signal there for a few minutes, so hopefully we're still
Okay.
going now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what happens at these red tents? What's it about? So it was all to do with getting women, empowering women, or just to not have to do everything, just sit and calm and be in yourself at the moment, and be at peace with yourself. But yeah, it's quite intriguing. So what does it mean?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of ways of being in the world, and as I said earlier, women, we juggle so many different aspects of ourselves, and we're going all the time, always busy, and being the helper and the carer and the nurturer as our nature is. But Red Tent actually is specifically for women who are 18 and over, or people that identify as women. We're very much an inclusive organisation. So what it is in a really basic way is we meet once a month or so in circle. And it's nothing mysterious and ooh out there. It's
Witchy.
just, yeah, people can't think, oh my God, what are they doing? But, it's just communicating with each other. It's sitting down and listening to each other's stories, because we all have a story. It's being respectful. It's what we call sacred space. And that's very, very important, so that women know we can share anything. We don't have to hold back, because once it's spoken of in that circle, it's not spoken of again, unless that woman chooses to come to someone. So it's really, really important that we have that space just to download, to, just be present in that moment. It's also a great learning environment. We have different workshops. We have guest speakers that come, and we may talk about tarot. We may talk about self-love practices, doing different crafts. There's a lot of creative, beautiful, unique women out there, and our aim is to bring them together and share these gifts.
So well, when it comes up red tent, to me, are you in a group in a tent that's red? Starters.
I love it. Ideally, yes, we would love to. We all have that vision of, we're out in the bush with this beautiful red tent, and that, as I said, that is the vision. But no, we because we're inclusive, we have to make it safe for everyone to attend. So we're normally in like a community centre or a hall. Weather permitting, we can go outside. And you just wear your normal clothes. You don't have to get dressed up in our red robe or anything like that. Though we do it sometimes, but it's not the norm as such. And we just come together, and as I said, we have that sharing circle where we can just really be honest. And one thing is we don't try to fix your problem. That is something that we're also very good at. Someone's upset, let me fix it. How can I fix it for you? We sit there and we listen to you and we hold you. And really, we already know our answers inside anyway, but it's giving you that space to drop into yourself and, yeah, hopefully come to a resolution that you need.
Yeah, because sometimes there's so much noises and voices in our heads saying, yes, no, don't do it, da, 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 da. Yeah.
Yep.
How often do we do? Okay, get lost.
Yeah, that's it. How do we just sit and, not take on anything else, but just be. Yeah. So it's
held all over. Is it held all over Australia?
Yeah. So we Gold Coast South Red Tent is under the umbrella of Red Tent Australia, which is a non-for-profit organisation, as I said. So we have branches opening up all the time. We have branches in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. Our aim is to have a red tent in every town, every little village across Australia, because it is about supporting our women and, giving them that knowing that, they don't have to be anything else than what they are right now, because that is beautiful.
Yeah, so some of those small regional places don't have anything for women to get together.
No, and I guess that's something we have found being forced to go online and hold our online circles. I didn't come gracefully to it, I'm not particularly, this is not my realm. I'm a person-to-person woman. But the ability to reach out to so many more women that just cannot physically get to a tent. As you said, our women are across the country. They're isolated, If they're lucky, they do have some form of community. But there's a lot that don't. So I think online is actually going to stay here in some format for Red Tent.
Yeah, because for the ones that cannot make it, or the distances too far, or whatever the case may be, it means you can always just hop online and be a part of a community. I think our online get-togethers and Zooms are here to stay.
I think, I agree with you, Laurice. It's been a huge change. And, I'm often asked, well, do you get that same connection as you do when you sit in circle? And I have to say, yes, you do. It's a different way. But once we realise that we're safe in this virtual world, we still have that ability to just really connect with the women that we see. It's energetic. It's not tangible. But it's there, and it's so beautiful. Instantly we've made that connection. We've started weaving those threads of friendship and support.
And knowing that anyone can speak what's on their mind without going anywhere. It's just us girls, and we've all got something that we don't want to broadcast it, or just have the confidence to know that we can speak in a confidentiality type of area. And
definitely.
And speaking it out definitely does help. Yeah, because how much do we hold in our heart?
So much. Because we, whatever reason, we don't want to be a burden to others. We feel that, I should be able to cope and do all this myself. I'm Wonder Woman, And we're not. We are all powerful, all beautiful beings, but we need support as well. We can't be that centre for everyone and come from a place of a half-filled cup.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We need to fill our own cup first before you fill anyone else's.
That's so true. Yeah.
So I was just reading your bio, and you had you're a consciousness touch practitioner. So is that part of the Red Tent or something a little bit different?
It's separate to Red Tent, though part of it does creep in because it's innately who we are. Being human, we have to have touch to thrive and to grow. So the conscious touch practitioner side of me, with my red head, the tent kind of sitting here, it's about allowing people to come back into their body, into their physicality, and showing them ways of being fully present Like an example, it would be, how often do we as women get up in the morning, wash our face, brush our hair, clean our teeth, and we're out the door. Like we don't spend 60 seconds just, consciously being aware, going, oh, my skin feels lovely today, or, oh, the hair's looking good, I like, just being conscious of you. And it's such an empowering way of being. We were talking before we came on about hugging. Hugging is so important for us to feel that deep connection, that soul knowing that other people are out there for us. So in that part of my world, yes, I teach people to really connect to that part of them. And there's a few beautiful rituals and practices, and it's all very nourishing and loving. And it's not a sexual connotation at all, conscious touch.
We forget how much conscious touch means. Even like you said, looking in the mirror, even just looking in your eyes in the mirror, saying how beautiful you are today, or I love you. We forget to do that. And we want someone else to tell us, but we forget to tell ourselves.
That is that is so true, Louise. Like we really, we don't value ourselves as we value others, and yet they look at us and they say, oh wow, you've got a lot of strength, you've got all that, but we need to know that from in here, from within. And
that's definitely. So there's definitely a need for that. So it's something I'm trying to work on as well.
I think as the collective, there is such a need, and not just for women in this regard. Men are not taught in this present patriarchal world. They're not taught to be that softer side of themselves, that it's okay. So we find a lot of men are looking for something, but they don't know what it is. They know they're missing, but what is it? So it's about guiding them into a way of being as well.
Because a lot of men think that they need to be strong, the provider, and show no softness or vulnerability, and it does get to them, and in the end, you find that they need some care and counselling, or on depression tablets and all that type of thing. So it's a very real problem.
It certainly is.
So I would love to know about other men's circles, but that might be another story. So if anyone's listening and knows anything about men's circles, contact me. Let's have a chat. Also, when you mentioned the sacred sexual side as well, so that's a different thing again to the consciousness touch.
Yes, it's another level. So as I said, conscious touch is not about sensuality or sexuality. It's about feeling into your body and working out boundaries and being able to voice it. So, if someone's touching you, oh, I like that touch. Oh, no, can you stop that? I don't like it. Could you touch a little bit harder? It's all about that kind of consensual touch. And sacred sexuality certainly does have that as well, but we are actually looking at the sexual being side of us. And once again, these are so many mysteries and rituals and ways of being that modern society has forgotten. We've forgotten how to be that. We see sexuality as blatantly out there in our faces in every day. You have to fit a formula to be seen as a sexual being, when in truth that is so very far from who we are. So yes, I teach. It's a mixture of tantric work. I bring in some kundalini work. There's a lot of elements that I've learnt throughout my life that I bring into that. One part that really, I think is beautiful is I guide women in how to pleasure their partners in a way that is sacred and beautiful. And as we said earlier, men are always doing. They're always got to be thinking, oh my God, has she done this? Have I done that? Have I did it? Where if we can take that away and they can just surrender, I mean, it's such a beautiful gift to give to someone that you love.
Yeah.
And it is always about, being conscious of that. Yep.
So do you actually teach us one-on-one, I'm presuming?
Yep.
Is it just like a one-on-one session, or do you actually teach people how to teach others to do it as well?
Yeah, great questions. It's varied. I do women's groups, which are very small, intimate groups. So that might be 8 to 10 women, generally no more. And I have a beautiful live model who comes, and I actually demonstrate what we call the linga massage, which is the sacred sexuality of a man. So in very blunt terms, we're learning, teaching women how to connect to that sexual part of the man, to their penis, but doing it with reverence and love, and not with an end goal as such. So that's one aspect. Another part that's really relevant in today, it's men have so much stress in their lives, as you said, being the provider, being whatnot. And as we get older, our bodies don't function as they did in our roaring 20s and 30s. So, you may have some sexual dysfunction, though I don't actually call it that. But, so there becomes a loss between a couple, because the men ultimately, that's how they identify themselves as, the sexual man, the chaser. The woman is the receiver. And what happens when he can't actually perform to that way? They're lost. They don't know who they are. So when I do couple work, it's very intimate. I'm guiding them how to connect back into themselves through ritual and, gentle way of being. And they feel like they can re-identify themselves. They're still a sexual man. That's still important to a man. But we can switch it around so that it's not all the doing is focused on him.
Yeah. And it does affect the men quite badly if they realise they're not up to standard like they used to be, and they can't please their lady. Yeah, it does affect them very badly.
Yeah.
So this is a very important work.
Yeah, it is. And, thank you. Honestly, I never thought this is where I'd be when I was younger. This was the furthest from what I had planned in my life, but it's something that is really needed. And
so
not just.
Sorry. So you do teach people how to teach others to do that as well.
Yes. Yeah. My personal belief is knowledge is there for all of us. It doesn't actually, all these ancient ways of being and traditions, rituals, and so forth are not owned by someone. It's ancient knowledge. It's about reconnecting, remembering this thing, and I'm just a facilitator to do that. And it's such beautiful work. I love to see a couple reconnect that have started to drift apart, but coming back into the physicality in a different way. It's absolutely beautiful.
And I suppose it depends on circumstances and the person. Does it take more than one session with you, or you have a series of sessions?
Look, it's something that is done slowly. It's not something that you would do like a cold call to someone. You do a lot of the groundwork, and you meet the person or the couple beforehand. And then, we talk about respectful boundaries and all of that, and what do they hope to get from it. I like to be very clear around what their expectation is and what I will provide. But it's it's just a place for me that I feel very, very comfortable with. Extremely comfortable.
Wow, lost for words. It's very interesting. So, and in the women's circles you talked about as well, is that mainly in the red tent, or you do different ones for different reasons?
Look, it really depends. I don't necessarily do the sacred sexuality within Gold Coast South Red Tent. because it can be quite confronting. Let's be honest. You know, if you have some triggers around your body or your personal space, it can be quite confronting. So it is kind of a separate, even though there's that crossover flow between two, the actual conscious touch practice and the sacred sexuality are actually slightly separate. Where red tent comes into it, red tent is like an introduction into the women's mysteries, if you wish. You know, and you'll often hear, you know, red tent this, red tent that, and there is so much misconception about what it is, because we don't know. You know, if we don't know, we don't know. That's the old saying, and it's very true. But yeah, we talk very openly in Red Tent about our bodies, but it's not the sole focus of Red Tent. You know, I've often had women come up and say, "Oh, Red Tent, that's just about, you know, when you're menstruating, and you know, that's all you just talk about." And I'm going, "Well, I don't know which Red Tent you're off to, but no, I don't." It's part of it, but it's not the whole. You know, it's about being in everything that we are as women. And, you know, it's multifaceted. You know, there's no way you can pinpoint what that is a woman.
Yeah, well, we can do so many things. Our brains are so complex, and we can do 1,000 things at once.
Yep.
Which I drive my partner mad with. Whereas the poor guys, well, not poor guys, sorry guys, you're lovely, aren't that complex. They like to concentrate on one thing and get it done and work on that, which is a great thing to do as well, because I find I'm all over the place. I've got this going, that going, this going, and then I don't put all my soul energy into one thing, whereas he does. So yes, it's the yin and yang, isn't it?
It is. It's very much the masculine, the feminine way of being in the world. And that's probably one thing a lot of people may not realize. We are actually both masculine and feminine, but one part of us is more dominant. So when we're in that doing, that focused doing, that's the masculine side of us, as you just said. That's where men are comfortable. You know, they've got a job to do. Well, I'm going to do it. Whereas women, well, I've got a job to do, but oh, look at that. That's pretty. Oh, I like that. Oh, I haven't heard about that. I might research that. And it's a complementary way of being. Definitely.
There you go. What was I doing in first place again?
Yeah, quite often.
Yeah. So with the Red Tent, so it's held every month?
Yeah.
And at the moment, online?
At the moment, it's online. We're hoping September we will be able to go back to in-person tents. But once again, that's very flux. No one really knows what's happening. So that's something that we are just waiting to see. Normally we meet at the new moon or around the new moon. Red Tent is very much connected to the moon and the cycles. It's very feminine orientated in that. So one of the reasons we meet at new moon is that that's traditionally when women are at their lowest ebb. It's the dark time. It's time of rest, of not being on as such. And that's when we tend to meet, so that we can support each other when we're in that space of just can't do it anymore. Just no, I need time out. And most circles are 2 hours. There's a slight format in it, but as I said, it's because we're women, we have that ability to adapt really quickly to whatever is present. Like, being a facilitator, I may have something in mind that I want to bring to the women. I walk in and the women, oh no, we're not doing that tonight. Okay. Because it's an energetic knowing, and being very honest about it. Yeah.
Wow. It's something very interesting to look into, especially for even young women. Sometimes they're so confused. They don't know what's going on in their life, or there's too much going on, or raising kids and all that type of thing. This would be something really good to ground them, wouldn't it?
It definitely, Larissa. I mean, we go back to the old ways of being. It was the older women that their community or village went to for advice. You know, that's what the red tent, the Moon Lodge is. You know, it's about sharing the wisdom of our elders and, you know, showing them that there's what's present for them right now will not always be so. And, you know, just, guiding them, guiding women, the new women. You know, on Red Tent, we also have the maiden section, which is, you know, you're 14 to 18. And that's really important. Like, as you say, supporting, that's a huge change in a woman's life around there. You know, you can lose yourself or you can find yourself. But having someone that you trust to be able to bounce off all these thoughts that are happening to you and the changes in your body, it's really important.
It is, and it's like I suppose I grew up as it like changed my body changing into it from a teenager. Well, going into a teenage years was taboo. No one spoke about it till something happened to you, and you go, "Oh my God, what have I done wrong?" You know, something's going wrong with my body. And now everything's just so open. The kids that go to school could probably tell us a thing or two.
I'm pretty sure they could. I'm pretty sure. I guess it's how that knowledge comes to you. If it comes with ease and grace, or, you know, there is a huge pressure on our young ones, whether it be male or female, to fit a certain mold, and that's probably something, you know, we didn't have as growing up. You know, where everyone was just pretty well everyone. You know.
Yeah, you just grin and
you toughed your way through it, basically.
Reason. Yeah, it's a really good time, like the last few years, I suppose, the last 10, 20 years, that all these things have come to rise up to help people transition through different stages of their life. And they know that there's something they can go to or someone they can speak to without judgment or criticism, and just listen, to give them the space to actually speak about what's on their mind or what they're going through. And it's like a counselling session that we need, because we women, we talk to each other, and that's our counselling session.
It is. You know, what do you do when you're down? Call up your best girlfriend. Hey, you know, and we unload. That's our natural way of being.
Just knowing that there's these circles out there. So to find out when you are on, people just go on a website called Gold Coast South Red Tent.
Yep. So there's a couple of ways you can go on to Facebook. Most of our advertising of circles is done through Facebook, and each tent in the area will have their own Facebook page. So if you want to know what's going on in Gold Coast South, just go to Gold Coast South Red Tent Facebook page, and it will have all the upcoming events and information, bits and pieces we find interesting. You know, that's where you can ask us questions as well and find out a little bit more information. Then we have the Red Tent Australia website, which is redtentaustralia, or one word, .org. And that actually has the listing of all the branches of all the tents, you know, what is our core value, you know, all of that, you know, organisational structure is in there. And it's a great way to find out where your nearest tent is. You know?
Is it only available in Australia, or is this worldwide as well?
Look, the Red Tent movement as such is worldwide. But as the organisation that we're under, we are just within Australia. Hoping possibly New Zealand will be opening soon.
Yeah. So for someone to open up a Red Tent circle themselves, do they need any like training of some sort?
Yeah. So if you wish to come under the umbrella of Red Tent Australia, which will give you all the tools, the training, the ongoing support. You have women who have been doing this for a long time, so you have all that knowledge accessible to you. We run training generally twice a year, though this year, of course, it's only been once. And that's a 4-day training. Plus, we've also put an element online as well. So it's a very in-depth training on how to facilitate a women's circle, you know, what's the right way of doing it, what's a more empowering way of doing it, rather than the dictatorial, you know, you have to do it this way. It's about learning those skill sets of that. And, you know, you bond so deeply with your fellow facilitators when you're training. And that's actually something that I've just moved into. I am now the Queensland trainer, facilitator trainer.
Congratulations.
So, oh, thank you. It's really exciting. Yeah, really exciting.
Right.
It's, you know, giving knowledge and empowering.
Well, you have a wealth of knowledge. I know.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart.
And we accumulate a lot of knowledge as we go along.
Oh,
Yes.
honey, we do. We
Yes.
certainly do. Sometimes you think I don't really want it, but you know, we still have it. Yeah.
Or sometimes we think we don't know anything till someone asks us a question, or we get into a conversation and you realise, oh, I do know a bit. Yeah.
Look, you know, there's value in living a life. You know, our Western society doesn't actually foster that particularly well, but we do. You know, women, as we go through certain stages of our life, we hold immense knowledge and wisdom. You know, and it's a gift when we can impart it to our sisters.
Yeah. It's like if you've got elderly parents, elderly mother or elderly grandmother, to talk to them and listen to their stories, and even like I know my own mother doesn't tell a lot about things, but one day we're in a car on a long journey and I was listening to something on the radio, and I just sort of asked her that question, and a story that came up that I had never heard before about her life or part of her life was wonderful. So you just need that right click to get it going.
It does, and
start listening.
You know, everyone does have that story, and they're priceless. You know, that's something that I'm very passionate about. Is not losing that wisdom, those stories anymore. We need to value them and to value the women that have lived that life. You know, we are in our Western world, particularly Australia, I believe, we're very privileged. We don't go through the hardships that a lot of our worldwide sisters do.
That's right.
So I do
very grateful.
Yeah, I always am. Yeah. But to be able to listen to stories and the humour, I love the humour of our elder women. Yeah, they're straight to the point. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well, I've probably been through a lot more than us, and had to be straight to the point anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Well, tell you what, this is very enlightening, and it's very I love listening to what you are offering and what you can teach other women. And there's a lot of women out there who are listening to this conversation, and you want to get in touch with Jada, look for Red Tent online, Gold Coast South Red Tent, and you will contact Jada through that. Yeah. Or contact me and I'll put you in touch with Jada as well, because we're pretty good friends.
We are.
We're always online anyway. So and I'm always also open to anybody else who has some amazing stories like this one, have great things to offer, helping humankind, not only women but men as well, or children. Anything that can uplift us, give us this amazing planet, the high vibration that it so needs right now. So if you've got anything you want to speak about, contact me and I will arrange a live chat like this today. So it was such a pleasure talking to you, Jada, and I hope to talk to you again very soon. So bye for now.
Thank you. It has